We're standing before you in the beautiful Margaret Murray Washington building, named, of course, for our third First Lady, Margaret Murray Washington. In this building, many student functions are housed, including admissions, financial services, telehealth, the bookstore, and soon to be our newest addition, Chick-fil-A. Let's continue with our celebration of Women's History Month. The year is now 1889, and Principal Washington is once again a widower, grieving the loss of his second wife, Olivia Davison Washington, now with 3 young children to care for. It is at this time that Principal Washington traveled as a guest lecturer to a growing number of black schools. It was during a trip to Fisk University that Principal Washington was impressed with a model student named Margaret James Murray. Murray met Principal Washington at a dinner of graduating seniors. During that time, she was also associate editor of the school's student newspaper and served as president of a literary society. She also formed a close friendship with fellow student Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. Margaret Murray sat across from Principal Washington at her senior dinner, and she asked him for a job. Washington asked Margaret Murray to join his teaching staff at Tuskegee, and a year later, in 1890, she became Lady Principal. In 1893, Principal Washington and Margaret Murray were married. In 1901, the new first family would settle into the Oaks, a house built by students that is still standing today. Washington welcomed Margaret Murray Washington's ability to run a well-ordered household for the first family. Margaret Murray Washington became a key professional advisor to Principal Washington by writing his speeches, expanding the size of the school by supporting women with new curriculums, and traveling with Principal Washington on his many speaking engagements around the world. Focused on the development of women, Margaret Murray Washington established a women's division curricula to include things like sewing, laundry, table setting, and other home economic skills. Of note, Margaret Murray Washington was the founder of the Tuskegee Women's Club, which include the local Tuskegee, Alabama community. Their focus was to support Tuskegee, Alabama families through wifehood and motherhood. The Tuskegee Women's Club Journal is housed in the Tuskegee University Archive. Still leading in 1912, Murray became the 5th president of the National Association of Colored Women. The association focused on domestic and vocational education for women. Principal Booker T. Washington would pass away in 1915. However, Margaret Murray Washington continued to focus on critical education improvement, the improvement of prisons, and anti-lynching laws. Notable, the focus of Murray's National Association of Colored Women's Conference was a proposed bill to define lynching as an act of murder, with accountability for those who would participate. One of Margaret Murray's famous quotes is, "Praise a child always, and he soon gets to the point where he thinks it is impossible for him to make mistakes." In addition, she also quoted as saying, "The condition of our race, brought about by slavery and poverty, ought to let us women know that we cannot afford to lose sight of the vast majority of the race who has not yet thrown off the badge of evil, slavery, ignorance, and poverty." Margaret Murray Washington remained at the Oaks until her death in 1925 and is buried in the Tuskegee University Cemetery. In this Women's History Month, we honor the leadership and the vision of our third First Lady, Margaret Murray Washington.